Hello everyone. This is going to be a very different video. I keep saying that I want to talk more cartoons on this channel, but I never really get around to it because I want to put so much effort into the cartoon reviews. I want to make sure that they are saying the right things. It's not something I can do off the cuff with just like my bare thoughts. So I kind of put it off, but this is something where I have nothing but thoughts, and it's just nothing but raw thoughts right now. So I want to talk about this, if only to get it off my mind, out of my head, so we can get back to Transformers, which is going to make me views and money, unlike this, which is probably going to die a death, but I don't care. I'm doing this one for me, because I really have a lot about this one. So, today I woke up to the news that the Pokemon anime is officially going to let Ash Ketchum move to the side. He is no longer going to be the star of the show. They announced that there are 11 episodes coming that is essentially Ash's victory lap. It is him basically saying basically it's the anime's way of saying farewell to the character, meeting up with a bunch of old friends, going to a few old places, and just kind of like recounting his adventures a little bit before we see Ash for the final time. And then they move into the Scarlet and Violet anime, where we follow two completely new protagonists in, of course, the brand new region. It's a huge change. It's a huge change, and it's like really bizarre. It's like really like very like weird reality in my brain. It's like if the Simpsons suddenly announced that Bart Simpson wasn't going to be in the cast anymore, like, oh, he's off to boarding school, or he's going to go be an exchange student and never show up again. You know, it's one of those things where it's like you take it for granted that the character's not going to be that, you know, you just assume that like he's the franchise. Like, short of Pikachu, he is the most marketed thing in Pokemon. So what how do you move on from the franchise without its starring character? It's super weird to think about. But it's also super fascinating to think about because it does mean it opens up a completely different world. I mean, let's be honest. It's been over 1,200 episodes of this show. You know, how many more things can you do? How many more ways can Team Rocket try to steal Pikachu? How many more ways can you keep championships out of his hands? You know, when he won the Alolan League, everyone was asking, like, where do you go from here? Ash won a championship. Finally. I mean, okay, it was basically designed for him to win in canon, literally. Time travel shenanigans. We're not going to get into all that. But Ash himself had already accomplished what he set out to do. He was finally a champion after like every season, every series. He just came like one step closer. Oh, he made it to the top 8. Oh no, he made it to the top 4. Well, this time he was runner up. You know. So what do you do when you finally give him the championship? Okay, let's put him in a championship for literally every trainer in the world, like the best trainers in the world, and Ash is going to compete. And not only, and you go, okay, cool. So he's going to meet a bunch of rivals. He's going to like flunk out in like the first round of the finals. No, he's going to win. He's going to make it to the semifinals. He's going to lose there, right? Nope. We're going to make him all the way to the finals. We're going to put him up against the undefeated Leon. Okay, what then? Like, surely you're going to let Ash lose, so he has like one challenge that he still hasn't overcome. He's going to go off to a new area, new journey, a new set of Pokemon, come back and challenge Leon again. Nope. We're just going to let Ash win. So at that point, you genuinely do wonder, well, what do you do with the character after that? Like, what do you do with a character who's literally accomplished everything he's ever set out to do? Well, I mean, it's hard to deny. Like, at that point, like, the show's been going on for 25 years. 1,200 episodes. You can't keep championships out of his hands forever. Eventually, you have to show him growing. You have to show him gaining skill. And eventually, it just becomes illogical for him not to be a champion. So you can't do that forever. So they decided to pull the trigger now. Going to be the world champion takes it even farther because when you're Ash Ketchum, what else is there really to do after that? You're the champion. The champion. So what else is there? The trailer, the teaser for this, there's a scene with Gary where he asks, now that you're world champion, how close are you to becoming a Pokemon master? And that in itself is an interesting take, because there's a lot more to it, isn't there? You know, throughout the anime, we've seen people who excel at breeding, people who excel at a single type of Pokemon. We've seen a lot more. You know, contests are still a thing in the anime too. We've seen a lot of ways that Pokemon interact with people, and a lot of ways that you can have skill with Pokemon that have literally nothing to do with battling. That's just Ash's thing. Of course, it's the most popular thing in the Pokemon world, but there's way more to it than that. So what actually makes you a Pokemon master if it takes more than just winning the championship? Congratulations, you're the greatest trainer in the world. Can you make a Pikachu that knows a special move that it can only get through breeding? No, you cannot? Alright, well, never mind. You got more to learn, don't you? Things like that. So, it's interesting. So, God, it's weird. Like, because I can think of what you'd do, but, like, to what end? So, like, we have a brand new anime coming out. We've got a brand new anime coming out for Scarlet and Violet. 2 brand new characters that get the 3 starter Pokemon. Okay, fine. I cannot see the show, like, having no Ash Ketchum presence. But because we're going to a completely new area, it's an island area, so it's completely remote. I can imagine that this sets off a completely new thing for the anime. It's not, you know, like, we are starting off, like, we've already seen, like, with the teaser and a few episodes, we've seen his friends reacting to Ash becoming the world champion. What we have not seen is how that affects others, because now there are new trainers who see Ash. Here's the eternal 10-year-old Ash Ketchum. The eternal 10-year-old Ash Ketchum is now the world champion. If the direction of the anime from here on out is we are going, like, now, like, Ash has inspired a new generation of trainers, and the new trainers are not seeking to be Pokemon masters. They're seeking to be world champions, which is a path that goes straight through Ash. He is the thing that Pokemon trainers aspire to. He is, like, the celebrity of the Pokemon world. You know, he is on the billboards, he's on posters, he's on whatever, and it's that thing, like, someday I'm going to be like Ash Ketchum. So he becomes something greater in the overall Pokemon narrative because of how successful he is at his age. An age that is ridiculous. I did the math, by the way, because I was curious. So in the anime, it was episode 9. It was episode 9 of the anime where Ash tells somebody that he's been on the road with Pikachu for 2 months. Now, obviously, that was when the anime had no clue that it was going to go on for 25 years. That's still in the era where they thought Gold and Silver were going to be the final games in the series, and they were just going to move on. But if you take that math and you, like, stretch it out for 1,200 episodes, Ash should be roughly in his early 30s right now. Like, somewhere along the line of, like, married to Misty, has a kid on the way. They don't know how to get formula for the baby while they're traveling through the woods half the time. That kind of stuff. Like, it should be to that point by now. But no. He is the eternal 10-year-old, where even though there are scenes where it's like, there's a scene in one of the movies where he says, like, him and Pikachu are celebrating, like, the first year together. Okay, you should be 11, Ash. Nope, still 10. 1,200 episodes, still 10. So that means this man has had multiple adventures. You know, like there's this weird nexus where, like, Ash travels through and random roads, hits a new town every hour, saves the day and becomes the hero to somebody in town, and then leaves and hits another town about 10 minutes later and does it again. So, like, man, he really, like, sets up camp for the day, rolls out his sleeve and back and goes, okay, man, like, I saved, like, 12 towns today. I think one time I saved the world there sometime around 3. Oh, good night. And does it again the next day. Best not to think about it chronologically. Best not to think it. It's just it's funny to think about. It's funny to think about. But like, there's places where my head goes, you know, like I'm wondering what the next 11, like what those special 11 episodes are going to be. I describe it as a victory lap because it seems like it's going to be one last time to see Ash with his old friends on his old adventures. It does show Gary, it does show Brock, it does show Misty. Misty, who literally hooks him on a fishing line, it looks like. Fair warning, I'm not ashamed to admit, I've been shipping Ash and Misty since the original anime. You know, so there's that part of my head, you know what? They tease things twice with Ash with other girls. He's capable of having an interest. Is this like the last attempt to pull the trigger? I mean, it is. But will they pull the trigger? I don't think so, but maybe. Could be. Might happen. He's still 10. So it's going to be curious to think about. I think I'm like a lot of people who grew up with the original anime. And grew up with, admittedly, I was probably a little too old for it when I started watching, but I loved the show and I loved the game, so I watched. I feel like I'm in that group that watched it for like a few years through its original run, but when they started switching up the main cast, I kind of fell off, and I just kind of kept track of it here and there. You know, when I found out Ash was like in another championship, I'd follow long enough to see how far he'd get that time. So, like, when the Alolan thing came up and he became the champion, that was a huge deal. And then following him through this last series where he becomes world champion and everything is, like, completely over the top and insane and, like, we're having Dragon Ball Z duels with Pokemon. All right. That's cool. That's cool. It's been fun. Like, to know the anime for where it started and Ash just, like, struggling to catch a Pidgey, to now, like, being the world champion. Like, it's super cool to see a character advance. Even if he hasn't grown up physically, you can see where mentally, yeah, he has matured a lot in the way he treats his Pokemon, in the way that he carries himself, in the way he battles especially. The character has grown a lot. Like, from what I know, like, yeah, in the last few seasons especially, like, it's been a huge change for him. So I'm interested to see what the 11 episodes are, because you know every one of them is going to be special. You know all of them are going to be throwbacks. You know all of them are going to have some importance on what happens to Ash from here on out, because we know that his adventures are not going to end. We're just not going to be sitting in the front row for them anymore. So I hope a lot of it tells that, you know? Like, there is part of me that kind of hopes, like, you know, maybe, like, the last scene is Ash, you know, walking down the road with Brock and Misty one more time. You know, I would love for it to go right back to the beginning, and, you know, Ash is that type where he's like, I've accomplished this. Time to accomplish something else. We're starting fresh again. You know, so yeah, it's been interesting to follow this last year or so as they've, like, really ramped up the anime. It's just weird. It's even weird in my head that Ash has Pokemon like Gengar and Dragonite. Like, that's not what Ash ever had. Ash had starter Pokemon. Ash had, like, weird, like, random Pokemon you wouldn't normally get. You know, he had a Muck for a while. You know, he has a Heracross. You know, things like that. Like, he's got, like, offbeat Pokemon. And then, like, a bunch of the popular ones, but never like pseudo legendaries. So it's interesting to jump back in and see how far Ash has come, and to now realize that, well, that journey's over now. I think there's going to be cool things, but, like, it's weird. Like, the story comes to an end. It's like finding out that, like, there's just not going to be any more Dragon Ball Z. Like, Goku's adventure is completely done. I feel like this is what you would have gone through if you watch Dragon Ball GT live and you just watch Goku flying off on Shenron, and that's it. He's done. But, like, that's the original run of Dragon Ball Z. That's not 25 years of build up to, like, this is the moment where Ash walks off into the sunset. This is a much bigger deal. And I keep thinking to myself, like, what happened? Like, how do you put Pikachu in the new series? Because he's in he's in the region for he's in Scarlet and Violet, but there's no indication that he's going to be in the new series. Well, admittedly, we've only got one shot of the 2 main characters and 3 starter Pokemon. Does make me wonder if there will be a third, if there's going to be a twist to it, because like 2 is a little bit thin for a group. They did that with the last season, but I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It is a fascinating thing to think about. I can't imagine they won't do Pikachu in the new series. It's just going to be a very different form than it is now. And then you think like, well, everyone wonders like, what do you do with Ash now? And in my head, I'm like, what do you do with Team Rocket now? Has anyone thought about Jesse and James in all this? Has anyone considered what they're going to do with their lives now? You know, like, is Giovanni literally going to keep ordering them to try and steal Pikachu from Ash when Ash is literally the most famous Pokemon trainer in the world and the world champion? There's nobody Giovanni can throw at him to actually do that. I'm actually hoping that somewhere in these 11 episodes, there is an episode where Ash beats Giovanni straight up, because that's like the last thing he needs to do. I feel like that's like the last unfinished business of Ash Ketchum, is like, well, you never really beat Giovanni. You want to give that one another shot? Maybe put Team Rocket down for good, you know, because, we've left a lot of really good teams in the dust because we're focused so much on Jesse and James. I think it's time to give them a nice, like, happy ending too, right? Let's cut out this Team Rocket thing. We quit. We're going off on our own. Let's start a Pokemon journey of our own. Let's just start wandering around catching Pokemon. It's surreal, is what it is. And this is what's been going through my brain all day. It's like, okay, does Ash and Misty actually get the moment I've been waiting for 25 years? What do you do with Team Rocket? Where are they going? I shouldn't even say 25 years because, that's how old the Pokemon franchise is. That's starting in 1996. We started in 1999. 22 years, technically. All right, so still over 20 years. Long time. What do you do? You know, like, and that's been going through my head all day, is like all those scenarios. It's like, for the first time in a long time, like, I've been curious about the anime for a while because of the championship thing, but now I'm like super curious about the story of the anime because I'm curious what they're going to do next. I'm curious how they're going to handle it, and it's the appropriate time because Scarlet and Violet sets a completely new precedent for Pokemon being open world and being a lot more like what I think a lot of people think Pokemon should be going forward. It's rough around the edges, but you know what? A lot of things are rough around the edges and like delicious inside. You know, a banana is rough around the edges, but you know, if you can get through the skin and dig into it, it's wonderful. And I feel like Gen 10 is going to be like that, but super refined now that they've got that formula under their belts, and that's how games go from now on. But no, it's an appropriate time because the new game is so different in style, in story than Pokemon games of the past. It's the appropriate time. If you're going to make a big shift, this is the time to do it. So maybe it's the right call. Maybe there'll be an outcry for Ash to come back. Maybe the ratings will tank and they have to bring Ash and Pikachu back. We don't know. But I'm curious. I'll say that. I'm curious. So that's how my brain has been going all day. Like, I've been trying to think of Transformer videos to do for the channel. I've been trying to think of like what topic, what haven't I done in a bit, what am I due to make today. No, this is what's been like boiling in my brain for like since I woke up, is just Ash Ketchum and seeing like a character that I have followed one way or another for 20 odd years is coming to an end, and it's just still like sinking in. Like, that's it. Ash is done. But he's not really done. Like I said, I feel like we haven't seen the last of him in the anime. I just feel like he takes on a greater presence that we don't have to be there to witness. And the animes do movies and OVAs and like special episodes all the time. There's no reason why we won't see him back once in a while. It's just going to be different. You know what? And you know what? difference, not a bad thing. So, thank you for listening to this rambling. I know all of this has been is just rambling and reminiscing. But I do want to, I just had to get it out. I had to get it off my mind because it's just been percolating all day. So thank you for listening to it. And you know what? Do something fun for me. Do something fun for me. Tell me your best memory of Ash. If you had the anime at any point in your life, tell me your best memory in the comments below. I'm man enough to admit I almost cried during Pikachu's goodbye. When they played that song, they went to the flashbacks. I'm like, oh god, I don't like. I got teary-eyed. Ash's Butterfree leaving. Ash's Butterfree came back and like in the new episode, by the way. Spoiler alert, but it's an awesome moment. So yeah, like I said, I think the last episodes are going to be a lot of that. It's going to be a lot of friends coming back and one last time to see Ash and these people interact before it all goes away. So thank you guys for watching. Weird video, I know, but hey, if it's responsive, we might do more cartoon stuff in the future. I would love to do it. So please hit like if there's any video that's like important. Anytime I do something weird, if you want more of it, hit like on it so I know you want more of it. And yes, I promise it'll be a Transformer video tomorrow. This is just a little offshoot I had to get out of my head. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.